Hey everyone, it's Tariq again from the whiteboard. Today we're going to be visiting the sixth section. We are trying to, or we will cover the max product of triplet or of three. I actually picked this problem because there's a workaround or there's a trick you can say that you can use in a day-to-day life. So hopefully it will add a value. And if, of course, if you have any questions, as usual, just you can discuss it in the comments. So let's start with the question itself, I can skip. Okay. So I'm gonna just convert it to PHP right now. All right. So we have a lot of numbers here and a lot of formulas, but let's trace it and see how we're gonna solve this. So we have a non-empty array of A that has n integers as always. The product of the triplets P, Q, and R equates to this formula. So we are multiplying. All right, and then we have this condition. So technically we have the formula, right? We have the engine for this problem. Now, for example, we have the following array. Okay, and just an example, we are getting 1, 2, 3, these three, and the total is -6. And then the next one, we're getting 1, 2, and 4. I believe because 3 didn't meet this condition, right? So we jumped. So 1, 2, 4, and then 2, 4, and 5. So technically what we are doing, they are looping through them, right? So 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, then the other, so every time you have a starting point, which is fair, but they are skipping any element that doesn't fit the condition we have here. Anyway, so moving on, our goal is to find the maximum product of any triplet. Okay, so they want a function that will accept a array. It's a non-empty array, returns the value of maximum product. All right. Here again, I believe we have the same scenario. And okay, we can test our code based on this. The function should return 60 and why 60 because of that. But I guess the function itself should return, yeah, the value itself, right? We shouldn't return an array or something. And by the end of the problem, we have, of course, the conditions or limitations, as we always describe them. Anyway, let's take this into phpStorm. I have it already here as usual. So yeah, I'm just gonna take this part because it's super important and just put it somewhere here. All right. Okay, so there are two approaches here. There's a lot of ways to solve this problem, by the way, but my way is it's already there on the internet, but I'm going to try to explain how I solved it. All right. So the first thing, as we always do, we're going to find the length because definitely we're going to need it. So since size of is deprecated, we're going to be using count. All right. Now, based on them, we can just loop through them, right? As key value. Now, okay, so we're gonna loop through them, and then we need to use this actually, right? So let's try something like that. Max product equals 0, right? You're gonna define it. Remember when we talked about the outside help of the for the loop? So it helps. Anyway, let's try to find out the current value. Let's call it temp. And temp will be the where I'm standing and 2 points after that, right? So where I'm standing is key multiplied, right, by key plus 2 and key plus 1, all right? And then we're gonna have this condition: if temp is more than max product, then max product will be temp, and that's why we will make sure to have the maximum value always. All right, this could work. It will, if you are looking about correctness, it will work. But of course, there's a lot in between, right? But I'm not gonna go through this solution. I wanted to give you the longest way first. But the question is, or the trick is here, if we have a huge array or a huge list, right? We're gonna have to go through them and have a lot of operations during the loop. So performance-wise, we're not gonna be able to deliver. So what is the solution for here? What I wanna do actually, so I'm gonna delete the whole loop, right? And let's think about it when it comes to, let me do one thing here, print R, right? And then let me take the solution. Let's use the same values here. So we have -3, 1, 2, -2. Okay, -3, 1, 2, -2, 1, 2, -2, 5, 6. Okay, so as we agreed before, whenever you have anything numerical and we are dealing with a sorting problem, or maybe sorting can actually make life easier for us. So I'm going to start with sorting. How about we sort it, as we said, using the quick sort here, right? So how about we sort it, and then now what do we have? We're going to end up having -3, -2, 1, 2, 5, 6, I believe, right? Yeah. So actually, let's try to validate that. Return A, right? And here PHP, we're gonna have problem.php. Okay. So we're gonna have -3, -2, 1, 2, 5, 6. Correct. So we sorted the array correctly. Now, the trick is, since we are, or our formula is involved in 3 parts, right? Instead of going the classic way of -3, -2, 1, and then -2, blah, 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 blah. It's a long way, right? It's just like a bubble search. What can we do? Since it's sorted, and now we have the highest values by the end of the array, right? So most probably, you're going to end up having the maximum product by using these 3 values. So let's try to fix that. Our max product is not going to start with 0. It's going to start with A of, let's say, the length -1, which is the last one, right? And then we're going to repeat that. We're going to repeat that. But we're going to go -2 and we're going to go -3, right? So what we are saying here, 5, 6, and 2 should be the maximum product, correct? Now, this is this is an assumption, but we need to do it after the sort. This is an assumption. Okay, now you're telling me, what if we have another case? Now, after some Googling and these kind of things, the only case that this scenario is wrong is when we have negative, negative in the beginning, right? Think about it. Since it's an ascending array, correct? And we have -3, -2. So if we multiply each one of them together, we're gonna end up with a positive value, right? Minus, minus. Now, the only case is to check if we have an index 0 is less than 0, and it's not ORing, it's ANDing actually, and 1. What did we do here? So we trying to cover the odd case. So this is the normal case, I guess, we're going to face most of the time. But in this particular one, we have two negative values. So what we're going to do here, the temp, we're going to tell them that the temp value is, I'm going to say the first one, the negative one, and the second negative, and the highest value, 6, right? Let me explain that. Okay. Actually, let me continue this and be like, if temp is more than max product, then max product equal temp, right? So what did we say here? So we said this is the default value unless we have negative negative, then and it's sorted. So this work doesn't, or this way doesn't work without the array being sorted, right? So these two values, in common sense, will have a bigger value than the current max product if we add to them the last value. It doesn't make sense to use this, to try to come up with the highest number using these ones and 1 or 2. What we're trying to do is to use these two, the first 1 and 2 elements, and add them to the final one because it's the biggest since it's sorted. And if that number is higher than the maximum or the max product, we modify it as we're doing here. It's fine. You can pause it. For the first time when you see this, it might be tricky, I would say, maybe new, or maybe not. But since we are dealing with array and we have the direct access, which is one of the benefits of using an array, why not use it, right? Instead of looping through every single item and do that bubble thingy. All right, so I believe this one will actually cover handling the, what is it called? The maximum product. Now let's go back to the question itself. We do have some limitations here. Let me put them here so we don't keep going back and forth. All right, so the first one is n. N is an integer within the range 3 to 100,000. And we said n is, so this is the length of the array, all right? So simply we can do something like that. So if length, right? If length is less than 3 or length is more than 100,000, we will return 0. Why 0? Since we are going to return a number or a single value, it's not going to be an empty array, it's not going to be Boolean, it's going to be 0. And this is actually one thing that you need to figure out yourself. They don't mention anything about the negative return value, right? It's just based on the nature of the problem itself. All right, we covered this one. Now, each element of the array has also a limitation. All right, but we're not looping through the array, right? So let's do that. A simple for each will do the job. And we're just looping through them without any operation, right? Or maybe there's going to be an if statement, but I shouldn't go through them all. So all I need is one negative value to break it. So let me go through this. If inner, which is the value, okay, is less than, as we described in the previous video, 100, it's 1000 actually, or inner is more than a positive 1000. So we're saying that we're looking through the array, every element. If you are less than 1000, minus 1000, or more than a positive 1000, we will return 0 as well, right? Okay, let me actually return false. And here, let's return false. And let us do one thing. Create another function called isValid that will accept an array, right? Let's take all these checks here and put them here, okay? Length, we're gonna need the length, it's all right. We can count it again, no worries. the array. So I'm going to be using, actually, I can also do some check. Since we are checking if it's valid or not, I would say if it's empty, right? If it's empty, we will return false, correct? And then we count them. Then we check the length. That's done. Here, we need to replace this with array. And then we're using this, return false, otherwise return true, right? So this is the valid. So technically, what did we do here? We just covered all the checks here in a single function, and then we can use it normally here. I can say if not is valid, what is it? Is valid, giving the A, right? Okay. Then we will return 0 now, right? One contained way to do everything. Okay, so let's start with it again. Now, we have the length. We checked every single value, the length of the array. If anything is off, then we're gonna, then we're gonna return 0. Otherwise, we will sort the array. Here, do we care about sorting? I don't think so. We don't care about, because we're looping through them and okay. So we're sorting the array, and then we're using the array from like in the descending way, which is the last elements. If we have two negative values, the first two are negative, then the temp will be 0, 1 plus the last element. And then we compare it, then we return this. All right, I guess this will do. Maybe it's gonna be kinda, how can I say? Not complicated, maybe complex, but it's good to know, it's good to have. Let's see if we are going to pass the initial test at least. Okay. Perfect. I don't know why I feel like I'm forgetting something, but yeah, let's try. Let's see. If we have a problem, then we can do it again. Okay. So we don't have a problem. We have scored correctness 100, performance 100. To be honest with you, the first time I remember, it was like more than a year ago, I didn't score performance 100% because I did it the long way, the one that I explained to you. I had to read and explore more how to solve these kind of problems. It took us 17 minutes. I guess it will take less, but since we had to explain a lot of things, again, just for you to be on the, let's say, on the right side, on the confident side, what did we do here? We had the function to check for every single limitation that we have here. We checked the length, and we have checked every element in the array. If we have them between or in the range, we have used it. We rely in our solution on the sort. So we sorted the numbers or the elements that we have, the array, in an ascending way. We ended up having the largest values at the end. Since we only care about the largest value, we assumed that the max product is the last, or is actually part of the last three elements. If not, the only way to cover it is when we have two minus values at the beginning of the array after sorting. If we do have that scenario, then we need to combine them together in addition to the last element, so we can get the biggest value to compare with the max product. After that, we do the comparing, and then we return it. When you think about it, it's simple. And here, as you know, we have passed everything. You have the complexity and all. And yeah, I believe this is it. It was super interesting for me. And I believe that maybe this one will be also helpful for you, whether you're going to use it on a daily basis. Maybe you're going to visit or revisit the problem. So I'm sure it will help you at some point. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any specific videos, problems that you're trying to solve, or you want me to go through it, just of course let me know in the comment section or reach out to me directly. Till next time, please stay healthy, stay safe, and see you later.